microphone anymore, ever.
Isn't it like an expensive?
It's like $1,000 Sennheiser mic. It's like the broadcasting quality one that I just use the stupid lavs because they're more convenient. I gotta take the boom out, and, you know. But I should use this more.
I think it works well for the live show.
Definitely.
Okay. We're live to YouTube now too. Hi everyone on Kyle's YouTube channel.
Hi. Oh yeah. Shit.
My name is Paul.
I'm Kyle.
My channel's Paul's Hardware.
Go subscribe to Paul's Hardware.
Subscribe to my channel.
Go watch Side A if you missed it on Paul's channel.
Oh yeah.
Link in the description below. Or just stay right where you are if you already saw it. And enjoy the show. This is episode 202, Side B. And we stream also the entire episode on twitch.tv/awesomehardware, which we're also streaming there right now. So hello to all of our YouTube and Twitch audience. It's good to be here. This is a tech news show. We talk about tech and pretty much anything we friggin' want to. And we will occasionally have a beverage or five. Thank you very much for joining us. Feel free to drink along with us if you're of legal drinking age. Always drink responsibly, of course, as well. Right now we're drinking a Boddington's, which is, I believe, from England? From the old UK?
Boddington's Pub Ale.
It's a pub ale. I think it's English.
Brewed by AB InBev UK Limited.
There it is.
Luton, England.
Yeah. This is the beer that has a little widget in it.
Imported by Import Brands Alliance, St. Louis, Missouri.
I like beers with the widget. I've actually never cut open a can to see what the widget looks like. They have them in like Guinness, Boddington's. Is it just like a little plastic ping pong ball? Does it bounce? Can you use it as like a sporting ball? I don't know.
I've always imagined it's like a little wooden device.
Wooden. Oh.
You know, like you see in a movie with like little pieces that like, you know,
interconnect.
Yeah.
Like a Japanese puzzle.
But it actually unlocks a portal to the netherworld or something like that. If you say the right incantation or something,
you'll end up in Boddington's world.
Yep.
And we also sell merchandise on each of our stores. Mine is bitwit.tech, where I just found this out today. I have a new Screw with Confidence in navy.
Navy blue.
Navy blue, baby. Look at how sexy that looks. I mean, impress all the ladies with this, you know, and impress all the nerds in your life. I mean, it's like a twofold, you know? You can't go wrong. It's really every man's shirt, or every woman's. And there's a bunch of other sales going on the old Bitwit decal. And anything that has a Bitwit logo on it, in fact, is either sold out or on a super cheap sale because we're updating our logo soon. But it's still really good, high-quality merchandise, so if you're looking for just really good deals, then it's a great way to support the channel. Paul's store.
Sorry, I was looking for fidget spinners, but they're gone now. No more fidget spinners.
Are completely cleared out finally after years and years. Paul'sHardware.net has the same high-quality merchandise. Anything going on special on your store?
Yeah, I got some sales on thumbscrew t-shirts, lightweight hoodies, $5 off while supplies last. Nice. So get yourself... These are actually really nice hoodies, guys, if you're looking for something to keep yourself warm in the winter.
Yeah, 2.0 has one of them.
Good quality.
He wears it all the time.
I wear mine all the time. I've been wearing it for a couple seasons already. Got the classic thumbscrew logo there.
Winter is coming.
Winter's coming. Get yourself geared up. Also, the metallic silver sale on t-shirts for that. $5 off that as well. So if you're yourself a metallic silver shirt,
nice.
Those are also real nice. Thanks to all you guys who buy stuff. If you place an order while we're live on Awesome Hardware, when we get to the after party, which we'll eventually get to today, I assume.
Probably, maybe.
We'll shout your name out.
Johnson.
Give you Johnson.
Give you a big old fat
all
Johnson.
Kinds of Johnsons.
Maybe a double Johnson. All right, let's move on to my first article of the day, which is from hothardware.com. This is about AI, and specifically how it's mostly a racist, sexist, and stereotypical bastard. This actually is about the website called Imagenet Roulette, which lets you upload a selfie, and then the AI will classify the photo with a tag that it thinks is appropriate for the person in the image. However fun this might seem, and a lot of people are having a lot of fun with it, it's also a topic of controversy right now because it's actually been quite offensive or racist in many ways, and people aren't happy with it. So it'll, for example, just a few examples of what this algorithm is doing. It tends to tag anyone who uploads a dimly lit image as a black or a black person. Some white males are labeled as rape suspects, and we even have I don't know why they have to be white. What that qualifies someone to as a rape suspect, and then also certain white guys who are balding or have very short hair have been labeled as skinheads by this AI algorithm. So, as you can probably assume, people are not the happiest with the labels that this AI has been spitting out. Apparently, this is not the humans' fault. The human development team of Imagenet Roulette, which, by the way, with a name like, can we just agree that if it has the word roulette in it and it's a website, you should probably expect less than great things.
I would be nervous.
I mean, you had chat roulette, which, I mean, unless you love dicks, probably avoid that altogether. And now we've got Imagenet Roulette, just another terrible online roulette. Like, you might have a good time, or you might really regret all your life decisions leading up to that point.
So you're mentioning that the dev team they're all white people, so obviously they couldn't have screwed up at all.
Well, that was never a detail that was revealed or verified.
Sorry, I
Paul.
thought that's what you were getting to.
No, not quite. In a perfect world, I suppose. But the Imagenet Roulette team meant this as a test case to show how politics propagate through technical systems, often without the creators of the systems being aware of them. And the labels on the images were assigned by humans who got paid very little. So I guess you get what you pay for. But the underlying training data here contains categories that are pulled from the ImageNet database, along with images of people who have been labeled with those categories.
I just turned the volume up a little bit more, by the way.
Okay, cool. So I guess what this all means is that it's really AI looking at a database of images that have been put into categories. It's images of people that have been put into different categories, and then they're taking new photos that are being uploaded and slapping these labels on it based on what the database shows. So it's very hands off. This is all AI pulling out these labels and categorizing people and classifying them, often cruelly. So I don't know. I thought it'd be kind of fun to see what it labels us. Should we give it a shot?
Can we do that?
I think we can.
Okay.
Is there a way that if I logged into my email, obviously you wouldn't show it on stream, but if there is,
It says you can start webcam, provide image URL, or browse for an image.
I do have an image of myself on my email that you could pop in really quick. Do you have my email up?
How about this?
Or I can get a webcam. You want me to get a webcam? Oh yeah, we can print screen.
We have a camera.
I forgot about the camera.
It's fine.
Just print
Smile
screen
for
it.
the camera, Cal. All right. Now, how's that work? How's that work
sketchy.
again? We're going into no, not videos, pictures, screenshots.
Pictures.
We're gonna open that. We want to edit it a little bit first.
Sure.
Edit with Paint 3D. Why can't I just open it with Paint?
Just paint.
I don't need three-dimensional paint.
I want
Jerks.
good old-fashioned two-dimensional flat paint.
All right.
And then just crop us out, I guess, right? I guess you can do one at a time. So let's do one of us first.
Wait, what?
You only want to crop one of us out.
Oh, we can only do one at a time.
I think so. Yeah. Oh, maybe you can do both. Yeah, just do both.
It's AI. It should be able to handle.
It should be
stuff
able to
like
be like, yeah, there are two heads here.
that. Okay. All right. So crop.
These are pretty representative pictures of us, I think. You know, we're not making ridiculous faces.
Here's the picture. Sorry, chat.
So it should be pretty accurate. It should label me as a handsome ethnic man,
It should label me as
and Paul as a
a
level 60 wizard.
exactly. All right. Screenshot 1 has been saved.
All right.
So we will browse and upload.
Now I tried to do this earlier before the show started, but it didn't actually take my image because I guess it was too the servers were too busy. We'll see if it actually does anything now.
Well, it did something. Transferring data. Why is it transferring data from?
It looks like it's still loading up there.
It's thinking about something.
The AI is really, you know, it's a bit stumped, you know? It's already analyzed millions of people, but then as soon as it got to Paul and I, it really just was like, well, here are two individuals, unique individuals that I just have a hard time placing because they're just so special, different.
They universally love people of all, you know, races and ethnicities and and backgrounds.
Absolutely. So I guess, you know, if this is going to take a while, who knows how long this will take? I guess we can move on and maybe circle back to this.
That's reasonable.
All right. Let's just skip along here to a TechCrunch article about Amazon apparently launching Amazon Music HD, which has some pretty nifty features here, particularly lossless audio streaming.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool. This is going to be $12.99 a month for Prime members, or $14.99 a month if you're not a Prime member. And you can add this to existing Amazon Music subscriptions for an additional $5 per month. Not too shabby. What this gets you is over 50 million songs in what Amazon's calling HD. Okay? Which means 16-bit, 44.1 kilohertz, or roughly CD quality. Not bad. And then millions of tracks. Oh my god. Oh my god, what?
Why?
What? What does that even mean for you?
I don't know.
What is that?
Oh, here we go.
Okay, let's go back to Imagenet Roulette. The results are in.
Coming back. We now have an Imagenet Roulette response.
So Paul's apparently a
I am a utilizer.
Utilizer of what? What is that? Is that a thing?
It's someone who puts to good use, Kyle.
Someone who puts to good use.
Obviously, I put to good use all sorts of things. Person, individual, someone, somebody, mortal, soul.
Mortal soul.
User, utilizer, utilizer.
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's a good thing, though.
Yeah.
You had a good one. What am I? I'm a
You're a
sociologist.
sociologist. A social scientist who studies the institutions and development of human society. Obviously, Kyle.
I mean,
You
I am a
have
YouTuber.
glasses
I am
and you're smiling. What I think is hilarious is it picked up on your shirt.
Yeah, you picked up my shirt.
Your picture of yourself right here.
And said that me
dribbler,
as a shirt.
A slobberer.
A
drooler.
He needs a bib.
Wow. Needs a bib.
Like, it just shows you how much better you are when you're a real person than a shirt.
True. That's true.
Like, the shirt version of you is like pretty worthless.
Especially when it's at an angle.
Yeah. It's a really bad,
like you slobber
not the most photogenic
That's pretty
shot of me on a shirt.
It's pretty accurate.
Okay,
I'd
well,
say overall.
Well, Mr. Utilizer.
Hey, you know.
You are utilizing a computer
I use things.
quite efficiently.
I'm using things right now and I'm getting the most possible utility out of the things.
Yeah.
That's what I'm known for.
Yeah.
This is my use of things.
And I'm just studying all of it. I'm studying you as a utilizer.
Yeah,
Tracking your every
there's
move.
a lot of social implications to my use of things. Okay.
It's funny. I didn't feel like a socialist or sociologist before this test, and now I do.
Now you're a socialist? Jeez, it just
Oh God, no!
it just
All my Google
escalates.
devices are listening. Shut the hell up.
It escalates from there. Damn
All right,
socialist.
back on the Amazon train here, though. You're getting over 50 million songs in what Amazon's calling HD, 16-bit audio, roughly CD quality, and then millions of tracks in Ultra HD, which I kind of hate that they're saying Ultra HD for audio, 24-bit up to 192 kilohertz, which they allege to be the highest available quality for any music streaming service out there. And you can also download tracks, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't even know what the quality is for like the big ones like Spotify or Google Music. Clearly not as high as 24-bit lossless. So I guess it remains to be seen how good it actually sounds through people's through mainstream devices. Because if you have like a Google Home, which is a fairly lousy, mediocre speaker to begin with, is it really going to matter if you have 24-bit versus 16-bit audio? What you're feeding it is only going to be appreciated as much as the hardware is able to deliver it. So, but, you know, if you have something a bit more robust and you're an audiophile and you've got some banging ass equipment, then this could be a good solution for someone who's a bit more in tune with their ears and values that sort of lossless quality. I personally have a Sonos system around the house that we recently got, and it sounds a lot better than like the Google Home or any smart speaker really, maybe except for like the Google Max. But yeah, this would be an interesting A/B. I think I'd like to do an A/B comparison test between Ultra HD music and standard old Spotify to see if I can really hear a difference. And sound is definitely one of those more subjective things that some people can pick up on more than others. But for $15 a month or $13 a month if you're a Prime member, something to consider, I suppose. It's free, especially since it's free for the first 90 days after launch. I think that's pretty generous, especially since you can download the tracks. So like in 90 days, just like opt for the free trial and download as much freaking lossless music as you possibly can in 3 months, and then just like bail out.
So it gives you them. It allows you to download them in some DRM free manner that you could play on other audio players or something.
Apparently, yeah.
All right.
Pretty
cool. That's the way to do it. That reminds me of back when the MO was to subscribe to Netflix, have them send you the DVDs, rip the DVDs into like XVID or something like that.
Right.
And then return the DVDs.
Yeah.
I was a friend of mine was doing that for a while.
You could do the same thing now with Netflix streaming on your system. Like, I know that they do have some DRM shit built in, so you can't actually capture like a Netflix player. But if you had a second PC connected to it via a capture card or something like that, maybe you could do it that way. I don't know. I've actually never tried it, but I'm just teaching you all how to illegally pirate content. And you shouldn't listen to me. I'm just free flowing thoughts right now. I'm just a stream of consciousness that you should best ignore, and this definitely won't come back to haunt me later. I've never done it. I've actually never done it. I always said that as soon as I was able to afford good content, or just content in general, that I would actually start paying for it. And I have been since like 5 or 6 years.
That's good. That's good, Kyle.
Yeah.
It's well beyond the statute of limitations for anything you could be prosecuted for.
Yep, totally.
So you can be upfront and forward about that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No problems here. Moving on though. Let's talk about Amazon again.
Okay.
Because they continue to be in the news. This time for not a great thing.
Oh.
Apparently, they're being accused by the Wall Street Journal of altering their search algorithm to boost profits, despite internal dissent. This was reported today by the SJW, or I'm sorry, the SJW. Wow!
By a bunch of SJWs over at the Wall Street Journal.
It's the same 3 letters, just in a different order. I just realized the WSJ. I guess I'm just more used to hearing the other acronym these days. The Wall Street Journal, the WSJ, just reported today that Amazon changed their search algorithm last year to favor Amazon-made products and third-party products that rank high in contribution profit. Contribution profit relates to or refers to factors in non-fixed expenses like shipping, primarily shipping and advertising, which leaves the amount that's left over to cover Amazon's fixed costs. So I would assume that's like, you know, if there's a product that won't cost Amazon as much to ship, but it may not be as relevant to the user's search query, they'll still put that at the top of the list because it's more profitable at the end of the day to Amazon. And so in this way, because it's sort of a, you know, it's not exactly what?
The Street Journal Wall is what you.
Street Journal Wall. Yeah, it's a real thing. So in this way, the algorithm is allegedly altered to boost profits indirectly. Instead of adding profitability to the algorithm itself, they changed it to prioritize factors that happen to correlate with profitability. So it's kind of like this sort of long detour around their main objective, which is profit, but it's still obviously questionably unethical. Amazon released a statement to Ars Technica, which is who's provided this article today, strongly denying the allegations, but at the same time refused to give the Wall Street Journal any details on the inner workings of its algorithm. It's currently under investigation now. In a letter to CEO Jeff Bezos on Friday, the House Judiciary Committee demanded executive communications about the algorithm. Remains to be seen how compliant the CEO will be. Yeah, it's really weird because just the other day, like last week, I noticed that Amazon was prioritizing their own devices over more relevant products when I was searching. I've been looking for security cameras lately, and I typed in a brand of security camera that was not Amazon affiliated in any way. And time again, I did that multiple times with different brands, and time and again, I was getting pitched Ring devices, which is owned by Amazon. But you do that for, like computer hardware, or you do that for a completely different category, and you don't get any of that sort of targeted.
There's no in-house Amazon brand for motherboards or graphics cards.
Right. Yeah, that's true. But I mean, what I mean is that all the other searches that I made where Amazon didn't have their pockets in seem to be the most relevant searches. Everything I searched for was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense that these would be the top 5 listings. But anytime it was a Amazon affiliated, anytime it was a category that Amazon had products in, those products always seem to be at the top of the list. And then like literally a week later, this article comes out. So just from personal experience, I can say that I've noticed this sort of suspicion. I'm a little suspicious as well, especially now that this article is broken loose, but we'll see how it all shakes out.
So what takes priority in this instance? Amazon, who has built a profitable company from the ground up and created platforms for multiple services such as delivery of web-based streaming video, 1 day, 2 day shipping for a massive variety of products that you might be able to order and get shipped directly to you. And they, of course, also have a marketplace, as many online retailers have gone that route. Amazon started it, but like we're big enough, we have enough people coming to our website to try to buy stuff from us. Our warehouses are full. Our inventory is maxed out. We can't sell any more stuff than we have people coming to the website to buy. So they create a marketplace where third parties can go and list their products for sale on the Amazon website. Mm-hmm. Amazon has created that platform, has created that service for these third parties to go and list their products on the Amazon website. And now those third parties are upset because Amazon on their website is doing what any reasonable business would do and prioritizing stuff that would make their business more money, which is basic capitalism 101. Suddenly they're getting a bunch of criticism for this. They made the platform. It's a third party's choice to try to sell stuff on that platform. That's one way of looking at it.
You're right.
There's another way of looking at it, which is a bit closer to the way I would feel personally, which is just anything like this, whether you're looking at Amazon, like you need to have a general like structure in your head for how to deal with situations like this. And the crux of this issue comes down to that old saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Any company that is able to establish a monopoly, any politician that's able to establish absolute authoritarian power will abuse that. Mm-hmm. It's just how it works. And you might have some benevolent person who comes out who says, I'm going to do things right and does things ethically and whatever, and doesn't do that. But guess what? That person isn't going to be around forever.
Exactly.
That person's going to need to hire other people to handle certain aspects of their business.
Right.
Those other people are going to be following the model of capitalism, which is if you make more money, it's good.
Yeah. Right.
So
Bottom line.
I would bet that this is making more money for Amazon. So for the people who
course.
made these decisions,
That's the point.
that's good. For a consumer, you might look at it from the other perspective, which is that, well, I'm trying to search for stuff on Amazon. I want a nice holistic view of everything they have for sale, so I can get a comparison of each one to determine which would give me the most value for my money, which would be the best product to buy for X amount of dollars. Amazon is manipulating that because they
Right.
control the marketplace.
Yeah.
But they built the marketplace, so they should have every right to control it.
Hmm.
But,
No.
well, it depends. And again, that depends how you look at it. And I think this is where a lot of people have some really set opinions.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily disagree with everyone across the board. I just think it always helps to take a step back. Take a step back, try to look at it from a few, take a few steps back. Try to look at it from an objective perspective. Who's making money? Who has control? Who has the potential to manipulate that control to make more money? And you are, generally speaking, the consumer, and it's up to you where to spend that money. And it boils down to, like, am I being taken advantage of, or am I paying a reasonable amount for a product or a service that I'm getting that's providing me some benefit that I'm like, all right, that was worth that money. In my head, there's like a nice happy medium where the creators of the content or the creators of the products or whatever sell those products for a dollar amount that allows them to keep a sustained business and allows the people buying the products to buy stuff. Like, I think there's a happy medium. It's just like, how do you find that? And there's always going to be people trying to exploit that happy medium to veer to tilt it in their favor so that they can make a little bit more money. They can skim a little bit more off the top.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I feel like I have no problem with capitalism. I have no problem with companies making money. You can make money however the hell you want to, unless it involves manipulating the end user or the customer in some way. That's where I draw the line. I feel like when the customer is getting screwed over, like someone who doesn't know, what's what, searches for something, and Amazon devices pop up first when they're clearly not the best, when they might not be the best choice or the most relevant choice for what that user's looking for. Yeah, it might profit, it might benefit Amazon financially, fiscally, but there's going to be inevitably some users who buy those products because they were at the top of the page who just think, well, these are the first 3 things that popped up. These must be the best. And that's clearly not the case. I feel like it's false advertising and it's manipulative for the sake of money, which, again, you have every right to grow your business and be profitable, but not at the expense of fucking over the end user. I mean, it's kind of like, you can look at it somewhat similarly to like how YouTube does things, where you've got the creators who are kind of like the customers in a way, but then they're getting, they're getting slapped with, all kinds of, takedowns and copyright strikes and, all these content ID claims because YouTube is favoring the advertisers, and they're saying, well, we want to keep the advertisers happy because that's more profitable at the expense of the customers, who's like creators like us and shit. So I kind of see some parallels there with what Amazon's doing in that sense, and I think it can be black. It can be there are gray areas, but I feel like as soon as there's manipulation or someone's getting fucked over in the end, it doesn't really matter if it's your platform or it's I made it, so like you're still held to certain ethics, I feel. So yeah, I don't know.
I have a core belief as of right now that I don't plan on changing anytime soon. That anything that is good, I don't keep this. This is pretty broad, but it's gonna stay pretty broad.
Yeah.
Anything that's good, anything that's built up as good, anything that has some force behind it, a person, an individual, or group of people who's like, we want to make this thing and we want to make it good.
Yeah.
We don't want to make it to make the most profit that we can make or anything like that. We want to make it good so that anyone that uses this thing has a good experience and likes it.
That's never gonna happen.
There's lots of stuff that's built up that way from the inception, But anything that's built up like that, that's good, that gets popular enough, that starts having enough eyeballs on it, that starts having enough potential ad revenue or, clicks for links that lead to sales or anything like that, will eventually be corrupted and turned into shit.
Of course.
That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
So for everything Amazon did maybe earlier in its life cycle that made it a reasonable platform for people to go and sell stuff on or people to go and buy stuff on, if it becomes the only place anyone is ever going to buy anything, it will become horrible.
Right.
Inevitably and invariably.
Look at ISPs.
And yeah, and that's why, competition is important, but I feel like we're veering into like a discussion of like economics and stuff like that we're probably
not qualified to talk about.
Not qualified to talk about beyond that.
But you get us.
Point
what
being,
we're trying to say.
Point being, Amazon should not do this. If Amazon is creating a marketplace, they should provide equal search results opportunity for the people who are selling on their marketplace, even if that means that the sale goes through a third party where Amazon makes a little bit less money, if they want to keep the platform geared towards providing customers with the best possible experience.
Yeah.
If they're doing this, if they're tweaking it, if they're trying to give more recommendation or more visibility to the stuff that profits them more, then hopefully what would eventually where cars meet tech.
I have to build another new computer.
That's fine. Oh no. Oh no, a reason to build another.
Wherever will I get the parts? Okay, so I think we're streaming both to live both, again, 2 words.
Sorry about that,
streaming,
guys.
to YouTube and Twitch now. Sorry, my system crashed again. This is the one that I just built, specifically to be a better, more reliable streaming system, and that has not proven to be the case so far. So I'll have to work that out later. Might be the memory. Hopefully it's an easy fix like that. But for now, I'm just going to sort of roll through these next stories more or less quickly because I don't want to have to crash a third time this stream. And I'd love to get through all the information and get to your donations and stuff like that. So this next article is from CNET. It's about electric cars, electric vehicles, and how they're just so damn quiet that there have been some rules and regulations put into place by the US that says that they actually need to emit a sound. Automakers need to allow these cars to make a sound when they're running at low speeds so that people don't get hit by them. Primarily, especially like blind or visually impaired people who just don't, they rely on sound so much, because a lot of electric vehicles just don't make any noise when they're rolling through a parking lot or something like that. But there's been a new proposal, or an updated proposal, by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, who is proposing that drivers should be allowed to choose the sound that their car makes when it's going at a low speed. They're looking for public opinion right now on whether there should be a limit on how many compliant sounds a manufacturer can install in a vehicle and what that limit should be. So as of this month, automakers now have to equip half of their silent electric vehicles, 50% of their silent electric vehicles, with an alert noise at low speeds. All cars are required to do this by 2020. So this is already approved and stuff. The alerts must be present at speeds under 18.6 miles an hour. Beyond that, it's very specific, 18.6 miles an hour. The reason why is because they've done some testing, and I guess the average states that anything beyond roughly 18 miles an hour on an electric vehicle, people around it can start to hear the wind resistance noise, the wind noise, and the tire noise on the street. So it's not as much of an issue at any speed higher than that. There are multiple automakers that are already responding in various ways to this news. Mercedes-Benz has their EQC lineup, which will have an artificial humming sound. I wish I could play that sound effect for you right now, but I don't have it. That should be, I don't know, I feel like, wouldn't you just play a car sound? Why does it need to be anything else other than the sound of a car? But Mercedes-AMG, their sort of sport line, is working with, get this, they're working with rock band Linkin Park to develop a sound effect for their sport cars. All I'm imagining is like a car just slowly rolling up, and then all of a sudden going, crawling in my skin, and just like blind people everywhere, just like, oh fuck, and just like giving them heart attacks as they drop to the ground and start frothing at the mouths. I can't imagine how this is a good idea and how this is not going to just end up so terribly for everyone involved.
But the electric car, it would have to creep up like without making any sound first.
Yeah, right.
And then
just initiate, just kick in.
Blast the Linkin Park emo song or whatever.
I'm very, very curious to see how that turns out. And then there are other manufacturers like Porsche who are trying to, of course, profit from the lack of sound coming from their electric vehicles by offering such things as an upgraded $500 electric sport sound with their recently unveiled electric Taycan, whatever the hell it's called. A $500. You pay $500 for a sound for your car to make a stupid sound.
Now, I think, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, any of you car enthusiasts out there, but I'm pretty sure that this is already a thing with a lot of like sports cars, muscle cars, cars that are supposed to be more powerful, but more modern versions of them, because they've made the engines more efficient. But I feel like I know I've read something about this or seen something about this or something. Cars have they put in like a sound generator for the cars, so that if you're sitting there in your new fancy fast car and you rev the engine and you want it to be like to sound like beastly.
Yeah.
But it's a brand new car that's super efficient and it doesn't need to make any noise. It still makes noise to give you the satisfaction of like, yeah, my car is making that noise.
Is that artificial noise like coming through a speaker, like digital noise, or are they doing something with the actual exhaust?
Yes. According to Gnarly Charlie in chat, and he's very trustworthy, he says BMW has artificial engine sounds funneled into the car.
Okay, they can play through the sound and inside the speakers to make it sound cool. Wow, interesting.
So I'm pretty sure the comedy film. I'm pretty sure that is an actual thing right now for certain cars.
Yeah.
I
believe
people
it.
spend enough to pay that kind of thing on.
Which is stupid.
That said, well, I mean, like certain stuff, like you've heard the deadly Prius, right? It's the deadly Prius because it's silent.
Yeah, right.
It's silent. You don't hear it coming. So
Silent
I think
but
there
deadly.
is some practicality to having
but
some
deadly.
sort of audio play along with it, but making that a choice of the user, I think would be nice.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think of what good sounds you could choose to play in that situation. Obviously, you could just go.
No one would ever, in their right mind, blind or not, walk into that sound. You know, that would immediately turn you off.
That would be a warning.
Danger.
That'd be a warning.
Danger zone right here.
Who's in proximity?
What else would be a good sound?
Earlier in chat, I heard somebody recommend the sound from the Jetsons. The Jetsons flying cars.
What do they sound like? I don't even know. I'm too young and stupid,
Really?
and naive. Okay, you gotta do it. I'm gonna get another hazy. I'll be right back.
Okay. I can't hear it. The audio's not coming out of the right location.
That? Oh, that sounds terrible.
This is the Jetsons car sound.
No, that's gonna sound cheesy. A fart's way better. What about just the sound of a can opening?
It's a great sound.
I still like Linkin Park.
The thing that popped into my head, though, was the sound that the thermal detonator makes in Star Wars.
What sound does that make?
It's like a wow, 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 and then it gradually increases in intensity to give the impression that yeah,
like impending doom is near. Thermal detonator.
Yeah. This is all too long. Thermal detonator sound.
Yeah. We got a second one. god.
That's not
Just the
even-
sound of
that's
explosions?
not even
How about just the
correct.
sound of
Not even the
gunshots?
sound.
Might as well just scare the shit out of them
That's
altogether.
not even the sound that I'm thinking of.
What about the laughter, like the endless laughter of SpongeBob? Ah! Just as you're cruising through the parking lot. Ah!
Yeah, that's this.
No, this guy just made it. That's pretty cool,
I
though.
bet it's gonna do a sound though. It's got it.
It's like a flash grenade. Is that what it looks like?
Kinda. Alright, anyway. Thermal detonator sound would be cool.
I believe
is what
you
I'm
that it
trying-
would be
that's
a
what I'm
cool
trying to
sound.
get at. Okay.
But, you know,
Are we moving on?
yeah, I
Sorry.
guess we could move
I'm
on.
too distracted.
Let's move on to the next article. Ars Technica about a new streaming service that's going to revolutionize media consumption as we know it. From the one and only Comcast. Yeah, everyone's super pumped about a Comcast streaming service. This one in particular is from their subsidiary, NBC Universal. They've unveiled their NBC Peacock service today and released a huge list of expected new and old series coming to the platform when it launches in April of 2020 with 15,000 hours of content on day one. I just like the fact that it's called Peacock.
Peacock.
They actually had the word cock in there. They just had to squeeze in the cock. At first, I had no idea. It was like, oh no, their logo is a stupid peacock. So I guess that makes sense. But
Yeah, I was
it's
gonna
still funny.
say you know that's a peacock, right?
Yes, I
the
do.
logo?
No. As soon as I put it together, I was like, oh yeah, it's peacock.
Okay.
I already knew it was. I just kind of forgot. But it's still a weird kind of name. So they do have some Peacock exclusives. See, you just can't say it with a straight face. New Battlestar Galactica reboot. Hey,
Oh.
I don't know. I've never watched Battlestar Galactica, so I can't comment on that. If that's exciting or not, I'm sure some people who are diehard fans of the franchise will be incredibly aroused by that.
I haven't watched the Battlestar Galactica. I believe there's like a movie
Uh-huh.
that it kind of starts it off,
Mhm.
and then which I think I've watched.
Like before any
Yeah,
of
and
the
then
TV
there's
shows.
a TV series after that.
Oh,
that
interesting.
I'm not.
Yeah,
as
I'm
familiar
not on the up and up with the BG, y'all. But that's apparently going to be a Peacock exclusive, as well as an adaptation of Aldous Huxley's 1932 novel Brave New World, which might be good. It might be terrible. You just don't know these days.
I do enjoy that as a novel. So
Yeah, it was a good book.
It's one of those excellent dystopian novels that teaches you things about the future.
Yep, and how we're all gonna die, and it's terrible. It's probably already coming true to some degree. And then there's also going to be some reboots, like
I'm being corrected about Battlestar Galactica from
What?
Moket.
Oh, it was not-
It was a mini series, and then
mini-
there were four seasons of the actual show.
Okay,
I assumed someone was going to correct me about that, but yes.
you can always count on chat. And then a couple reboots here on Peacock, including Punky Brewster, which I never really watched that one. Never was a. I don't even know what that's
That
about.
was before your time.
Okay, yeah. But Saved by the Bell is going to be another reboot, which was in my time, and that should be interesting. Which it could be good or bad. They're bringing back some of the original cast members, including Slater and Jesse. Slater is Mario Lopez, which still has somewhat of a presence nowadays as a host in here and
He
there.
also doesn't age past like 25 or so.
He looks exactly the same.
yeah.
He looks
So
exactly
he could
the
easily still play a high school student, I guess.
He probably could. I'm just wondering why they didn't include Screech. Screech was clearly the best character. They got to have some Screechinator in there.
Like, I don't have high hopes for that because I feel like Saved by the Bell was originally like a campy, low-budget show that
Yeah.
just happens to sort of hit a few, it resonated with people in a certain way that made it sort of a cult classic.
Yeah,
I feel like recreating something like that is really hard to do.
exactly. Yeah.
Without just feeling like it can't be a ripoff, which not
Right.
many people are going to be interested in. So,
Right.
I don't know.
I feel like they have to make it intentionally campy and cheesy as hell in like the most funny, ironic way for people to even care.
People in chat are pointing out that Screech did a porn movie.
Oh yeah, Screech did a porn movie. I think I remember that. I think I remember hearing about that. Definitely not watching that.
You watched that, huh?
Definitely not watching that, but
out.
hearing that with my ears, not seeing it with my eyes or anything. No, definitely not. No, but maybe I guess that explains why he's not in the reboot. This
Destroyed his
reboot of Saved by the
reputation.
Bell will apparently feature Zach Morris once again, this time as the governor of California, who closes down too many low-income schools. So the affected students are sent to the very prestigious Bayside High, and I guess all chaos ensues. Yep, that's apparently the actual premise of the show. So yay! 3 film studios are already lined up to create original movies for the platform. All of these being Comcast subsidiaries like Universal Pictures, Focus Features, and DreamWorks Animation. What does a streaming service from Comcast actually look like? I don't know. Potentially worse than a Saved by the Bell reboot. We'll just have to wait and see. And that's all for tech news. I'm just gonna lump that in
Sorry,
there.
we got too into the weeds there. By the way. All right, well, that's good.
All right, let's move on to sponsor spot.
Yay,
We have
sponsor spot.
we have quite the sponsor.
Yes, we do.
Mm-hmm.
Our sponsor for awesome hardware this month is AOC. Kyle has an AOC monitor right there that he's about to pull out.
Yes, I do.
But we wanted to point out that if you happen to purchase an AOC monitor, whether you're buying one of the AGON monitors like we're showing you guys today, or one of their mainstream monitors, you're going to get a pretty solid warranty from AOC. You can go to us.aoc.com/re-spawned to get some details on their respawned warranty.
Do we have to take it out?
I'm going to move my beer over here. Yes, Kyle, take it out of the box. AGON monitors get a 4-year warranty. Their standard G series. You okay there, Kyle?
Everything's fine.
Get a 3-year warranty. That's a 4-year or a 3-year warranty, guaranteeing that you'll have 0 dead pixels on your monitor. 4-year or a 3-year warranty, offering you an advanced replacement for your monitor if you happen to have to send it in for repair or replacement. And then we also have a 1-year, one-time accidental damage warranty. Kyle is doing
Which I might use right now.
a great job over there, which Kyle is doing his best to test. Which means if you damage your monitor or otherwise damage stuff like Kyle's doing.
It's very firm.
Wow. You're doing all right there?
I think it's caught on something.
Well, did you pull the handles out? It's like
What
a
handles?
case, you gotta pull the handles out.
What handles?
There's 2 little flappy handles in there, and you gotta pull them out if you wanna easily remove the styrofoam.
I don't see any handles.
It's alright, you got it, everything's fine.
Hey guys.
Everything's fine. This is. Here, hand me the main body of it right there. Are you okay?
I'm okay.
Alright.
Ta-da! This has been an example of how easy it is to unbox an AOC monitor.
This is the back of an AOC AGON monitor, the 27-inch variant. Specifically, what's the model number on this one, Cal?
This is the AG271FZ2.
There it is.
It's totally worth all of the trouble it is to unbox.
Anyway, we did an unboxing of this in our first week that AOC was a sponsor here. It does have a stand that it sits on, which Kyle has put on the floor over there.
Nope, it's over here. I got it. Here's part of it.
It's got this little flip down holder right here on the side. That's for hanging your headset. It's a nice little feature there. Drops down, and then Kyle has the monitor stand.
Sure do.
Itself.
I sure do.
Which
Paul.
is made of metal, which makes it very sturdy. Has some rubber feet on the bottom.
Yep. Yep.
And allows you to do height, tilt, or swivel, which is nice. There it is. It also has a standard 100mm VESA mount in case you want to go with your own stand, if you don't like this one. But there it is, a quick look at the AOC Agon monitor, this 27-inch variant of the AG271FZ2. This is also available in a 24, either a 24 or 25-inch size, which is a little bit less expensive. And it features a 240 hertz response time.
Yes, it does.
As well.
And it has like a nice little headphone holder on the side.
I already showed them that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, fuck me.
I'm sorry, 240 hertz refresh rate, 0.5 millisecond response time.
Get it right, Paul.
Great gaming monitor for those of you who are gaming at 1080, who are looking for a high refresh rate monitor, which will give you much smoother gameplay experience.
So sorry that took so long
Everything's
to
fine.
get unboxed. There was
Everything's
a
fine.
lot of disturbance, I know. But,
Okay. And again, it comes with that super sweet warranty. So
yeah,
there you go.
Yeah.
Thank you to AOC for sponsoring awesome.
No warranty on the packaging.
Well, obviously. Okay.
All
what
right.
do we got next, Kyle?
All right. Next up, we've got hot and heavy hardware.
Hot and heavy hardware.
Yeah, baby. We talked about hardware that's hot and heavy. This one in particular, are kicking things off, is probably neither hot or heavy in the literal sense. Maybe a bit hotter than it is heavy, I will say. It's apparently the ASUS ROG Crosshair 8 X570 Impact and Strix X570i.
Oh.
These have been announced and are ripe for the taking. Yes, they're good to go.
Like
a sweet, succulent virgin. I don't know. No.
Just like a virgin.
Let's not Twitch clip that. The Crosshair 8 X570 Impact is of the DTX form factor, which is kind of awkward. It's like a elongated version of mini ITX.
Different. It's like ITX, but taller.
Taller. Why would they make it taller? Why even do that? Well, it's because they want to make more room for VRM cooling and power phase design. This has an 8+2 phase VRM. Can push
Give
70 amps.
give
The what? Oh yes. Oh yeah. Of course. I completely forgot that we actually have one here for Paul to unbox on stream. That's fun. Yeah, ASUS sent this over to us.
That's convenient, Kyle.
Actually, Paul has one too, so I got one, Paul got one. I didn't even know they were sending it. It just showed up yesterday, and I was like, hey, this is perfect to talk about on the stream, so let's unbox it now.
I've been pestering them for a couple weeks.
Have you? Apparently you didn't even need to. They'll just send you one without asking.
Well, they sent me the better one.
Which better one?
Okay.
This is the better one. This is the Crosshair 8.
You're right, it is. All right, so exclusive first information here that you maybe have never heard elsewhere. I was also trying to get ASUS to tell me how much this is going to cost.
Oh,
They have finally confirmed to me a ballpark figure, ballpark, mind you, of $400.
God!
So
Why?
So please bear that in mind for those of you who are drooling over this and like, oh
Ugh.
my gosh, I want that motherboard for my next small form factor build. It's expensive,
ridiculous.
guys.
That's insane.
It is a $400 motherboard. It's an Impact motherboard. I think that's probably why in this article we have both the Impact here, as well as probably, presumably, the more reasonably priced X570-i Gaming, which is a standard mini ITX layout form factor motherboard. Also X570 chipset, though.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I feel like this has the feature set of a $300 ATX
They're
board.
trying to take a $500 full-size ATX board and take all the features that you would expect for that and wedge it down into a small form factor motherboard. But yeah, a few things about this motherboard. Mini DTX, not mini ITX.
So it's not going to fit
it's taller.
in most ITX cases.
ITX is 7 inches by 7 inches, or just shy of 7 inches by 7 inches.
7 squared.
This one is taller. There's a lot of existing mini ITX cases, according to ASUS, that this will still fit in. But I'm sure people are gonna be figuring that out as more of these go out and people try it out. For instance, they have some 90-degree angled connectors down here at the bottom for front panel connectors and a USB, and then the ASUS Node connector that you can connect up. Aiming straight down, if you had this right up against a power supply or something like that, like a lot of small form factor cases have it, that might be a bit harder to get at.
Yeah.
That said, insane feature set on this board. Did I mention the back plate? Did you see the back plate? Look at that backplate.
Which actually integrates with the VRM
Yeah.
cooling solution a bit.
Yeah.
Which is kinda
Backplate
cool.
actually has a heat pipe integrated that goes down like that. So it goes across some of the back side of the VRMs on this side and down across this side, just to provide some heat dissipation as it's absorbing some of the heat created by some of that stuff.
Active cooling on the VRM area.
It's got two 30mm fans there on the front. There's this little plate you can remove, and there's a couple finned heat sink stacks beneath that. So active cooling, and that's not just for the power delivery, which is a 4-phase power delivery setup, but they've doubled up a lot of the components on it, but also for the chipset. And the chipset is like right there. If you're wondering why I know all this stuff, it's because I did an unboxing video of this motherboard very recently, which is going up on my channel in the next day or two. Had some input from BuildZoid on it as well. Did a little bit of a disassembly of the VRM heatsink and everything to get a closer look at some of the power delivery on the board.
And it's good?
It's good.
BuildZoid approved?
BuildZoid gave his seal of approval
That's
on
good.
it.
Nice.
It's not a typical VRM layout because it is a 4-phase layout with double up components for multiple things on there, but they're using really high quality components for what they did put in there. And
I do like the SODIMM slot, the
Yeah.
SODIMM.2 slot here, which allows you to connect
Let me
two
show that.
PCIe Gen 4 SSDs to the front of the board, so you never have to actually fiddle with any M.2 slots on the back, which can be a real pain, because if you ever want to swap that out, do any troubleshooting, you have to physically remove the motherboard in order to access that slot, unless you're lucky enough to have a mini ITX case that has a large enough cutout to access that drive fully. So that's the SODIMM.2 slot. Module.
It's actually more even than what Kyle just said. Everything Kyle said was true, but there's even more than that.
What does it do?
Well, there was extra space on here, so they put a couple fan headers on it.
The fan headers.
So there's a couple 4-pin fan headers on there, as well as an extra addressable 5-volt RGB RGB header on there as well.
So there's 2 fan headers, so in total you have 6.
Yeah, so in
6
total
on
we
the
have
whole
6
board.
fan headers, which is a lot for a mini ITX system. This fits into an SODIMM slot. That's what it's keyed for. But there's a block right there, so you can't accidentally install memory
Right.
on this. It is pretty tall. Look at that. That's how tall it stands up. So that's a decent amount.
It's probably gonna be, no taller than your GPU though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be taller than a GPU. It wouldn't be taller than a typical any standard air cooling solution, but it does stand up a decent amount there. And then the way that they've wired this up is when you have M.2 drives installed, one of them, and I'm not sure which one on which side, but one of them is going to get your direct to the CPU connection, and one of them is going to be wired through the chipset. So it is worth paying attention which of those is which, because if you have a PCI Express Gen 4 full fat SSD, you're going to want to install it into the one that's directly connected to the chipset. That's the only thing I don't know is which
one's which?
Which of those two goes directly to the chip?
It's probably in the manual.
Goes directly to the CPU versus which one is directly to the chipset.
I like that there's QR code on the
Rear
IO.
I/O has a LED readout for debugging. It has a reset button externally,
And BIOS flashback.
which is nice. It also has a BIOS flashback and a clear CMOS button on there. Super convenient, especially on mini ITX boards
you
where you're
rarely see that on that.
often going to cover a lot of the board with components on this side of it. So you can see with a lot of the features integrated here why so many people are excited about this board. You can also kind of see, if you're viewing it from the perspective of an ASUS executive, why they think they can charge $400 for it. Because damn, like that's a lot. That's a lot for a motherboard. But if you can
It's a niche audience.
if you can have an ATX or micro ATX set of features on a mini ITX motherboard, I think this board comes closest to doing that.
Yeah.
And there's just some little bonus extras on this. The full cover backplate, I really like that.
Yeah.
It's
a nice touch.
I just really like that. It's got a separate daughter board here for the
Audio.
Supreme Effects audio as well, which helps with the separation from
EMI.
electromagnetic interference and stuff like that. And even little things like surface-mounted start button over here, surface-mounted reset button over here. Those are going to be really popular, I think, with overclockers. I think this might be a really popular board for memory overclocking, because mini ITX boards are often popular for that. And then power delivery as well. You've got the 24-pin and the 8-pin side by side right
That's
here
nice.
in a really good configuration.
Yeah.
If you're concerned at all about aesthetics as far as where you're plugging those in, or just convenience to plug those in without having to route something across your motherboard to some awkward position in there,
Yeah.
which I've certainly seen before.
It's also
there you
nice
go.
to have SATA cable or SATA plugs that are right angle on a mini ITX or a small form factor board.
Yes.
Usually they're all face up on boards of this form factor, so they are utilizing the extra space that this form factor takes up wisely. And yeah, it's a ridiculous amount to pay for it, but they're not trying to saturate the mainstream market with this board. This is for a very particular niche audience that has probably been looking for something like this for a long time, and just there's really nothing like it until now. So
Yeah, and
it's pretty snazzy.
assuming the 3950X comes out, if and when it does, hopefully at the end of this month, this is probably going to be the board that goes with all of your super, super high-end, but also super tiny high-end small form factor builds. That seems to be it. And so I already mentioned I did an unboxing and overview of this board. That should be up on my channel in the next couple days probably. And then I integrated this board into my build from last month with the Leon Lee TU150, which supports DTX, supports mini DTX, and also has the nice, it's a very good companion for this motherboard because DTX support, as well as it's got the front panel USB 3.1 Gen 2 header as well. So you can connect up all the front panel ports on it at the same time.
I'm actually equally excited, if not more so, for the Strix X570i, which is coming out very soon as well, which is going to be, granted, it's going to have less features than this board on it, but it's actually mini ITX, so it can be fit into a wide variety of mini ITX cases, pretty much any mini ITX case, obviously. It's still going to have an actively cooled heatsink and full compatibility with Wraith series coolers, because right now, not every X570 mini ITX board guarantees support with Wraith coolers, which is kind of a bummer because they're free, they're completely included with particular CPUs. It's going to have dual PCIe 4.0 slots and ship with Wi-Fi 6 adapter with Bluetooth 5.0 support. It is, however, still going to be a whopping $350-ish US.
Really?
Yeah, for the Strix X570i. But you'll be able to put it in a much wider variety of cases. So if you're looking for that level of functionality,
that's a lot.
it's a lot. They're gonna make, they are making cheaper mini ITX X570 boards as well.
I feel like a motherboard manufacturer should be able to put together a full-featured mini ITX X570 board for $250, if not between $200 and $250.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really solid, reasonable standard ATX boards for about $200 that hit, all the points you need for a regular build. I'd like to see something that's a little bit.
Bear in mind also that these boards are more than equipped to handle a 16-core 3950X, and then some. On the next generation of Ryzen, even multiple generations down the line, once they get to 24 cores, because they will, fucking hell at this rate, this board will be able to handle it way better than most in its class. And so I guess you have to sort of see the long-term benefits of a board of this stature. But perhaps you'll be seeing, you'll definitely be seeing some more content on this particular board on Paul's channel. Maybe you'll see me do something fun with it as well on mine. But let's move on. That was a long-winded segment, a long-winded article. We have quite a bit more to talk about here. Tech Power Up has reported on the Fantex neon flexible digital RGB strips, which maybe you could put inside of a high-end DTX build, like the ones we were just fantasizing about. These come in 3 different options: the M1 with one meter LED strip, the M5 with a single 550 millimeter LED strip, and a combo kit that includes 2 400 millimeter LED strips with motherboard adapter and extension cable. These are different than your mama's, than your mama's LED strip. All right, these ain't your mama's LED strips, people. These are ultra flexible silicone, or not silicone, silicone covered aids. Aids in durability. Features high quality LEDs with smooth and diffuse glow throughout the strip, and they even come with little cable management corners, like right angle little fittings there that you can help route the cable through. So you can see it's a bit more flexible, a lot more flexible than your standard LED strip, where you kind of have the adhesive or the magnets on one side of the strip, and it's really hard to do a right angle cleanly if you're changing the axis of that strip. But this seems to do it effortlessly, and it has a very smooth transitioning of color throughout the entire strip, whereas with LED strips, traditionally, you get these little hot spots. You've got an LED every few centimeters along the strip. This seems to just be a continuous tube of light that you can just bend and flex in any which way, which I think is, I honestly think this is the direction that LED strips are going to go, if this product turns out to be a hit, because it just makes a lot of sense. And it eliminates a lot of the limitations of existing LED strips. Plus, Fantex is selling these for pretty darn cheap. I mean, the three options that I mentioned earlier, they range anywhere from $15 to $22. Like, yeah, like get your orders in, folks. It's actually pretty damn affordable, and there's a lot of possibilities here. I don't know if they're waterproof, like if you could stick them in, water cooling tubes or anything like that, that'd be kind of interesting. But at the very least, it's kind of a nice, refreshing take on RGB LED strips and bling for your system. So Fantex is killing it right now with just everything. The neon flexible strips are no different, and you guys let us know what you think about it in chat. Let's move on to our next article, though. Aorus, their CV37Q tactical monitor.
27Q.
I'm sorry, 27Q. That was a typo, sorry. Features black equalizer 2.0 technology. This is, first and foremost, a gaming monitor at 27 inches, 2560 by 1440. It is a VA panel at 1 millisecond response time, and features 165 hertz refresh rate with a 1500R curve, FreeSync 2, 90% DCI-P3, color gamut, and 8-bit. So, Gigabyte announced this to be their first panel ever to feature black equalizer 2 technology. The new technology works by dividing the screen into 1296 sub-areas, and it equalizes each sub-area individually so that gamers can see clearer in dark areas without having overexposure in bright areas. So widens it increases the contrast ratio effectively. Which seems to be like based on the description, this seems like a more refined methodology of local dimming. It seems like a refined local dimming technique, which is all fine by me as long as it's improving the overall image for the end user. This is not only good for games, but great for movies and TV as well. Oftentimes with if you have a lousy local dimming solution on your panel, then your whites and your darks, if they're next to each other on a single image, are going to be blurred. Your lights are going to look a little dark, and your darks are going to look a little light because the LEDs that are on are right next to a big patch of LEDs that are off. And so there's going to be a bit of bleed over into the area of your image that's supposed to be dark, and that's obviously going to create not the best image quality. So
it's often referred to as the halo effect.
Halo effect is what I was looking for. Yes, thank you, Paul. This is a new improved, they also have a new and improved ANC 2.0 or active noise canceling, which I think we were able to test or demo at CES earlier this year with a special IC design that reduces ambient noise significantly when you're voice chatting with other gamers and stuff, your friends. So it's actually featuring a 120 decibel signal to noise ratio and supports high impedance headphones up to 600 ohms, which is not too bad. I actually got to demo this at CES, and it was very, very good, actually. What I really like about it is that all of the active noise canceling is done. It's all processed by the monitor itself, so you're not bogging down any system resources from your PC. It's completely offloaded to the panel. Which really few other, if no other, monitors are doing at the moment. So I thought that was a really unique feature of this panel, and I think Gigabyte sort of needs that to set their panels apart since they're fairly new to a increasingly saturated market. There's RGB on the back. There's a built-in PSU, so you don't have to deal with a nasty power brick. It's got a metal three-way stand. This was one of my favorite monitors that actually released in, I should say the predecessor to this panel was one of my favorites that released in this year, actually. It was really good. I did a video on it. You can probably find it if you really wanted to. There's ASUS, no, I'm sorry, not ASUS, Aorus. The Aorus F127Q and F127QP panels, in other news, are now G-Sync compatible certified. So they feature Face and Display 400 standard certified, and they offer 10-bit color. They're also 95% DCI-P3. These seem to be, from the looks of it, slightly higher end than the panels we were just discussing because of the higher color gamut and higher VESA standards. These also feature Black Equalizer 2.0, so if you're interested in higher color gamut, I mean 10-bit panels are really nice if color's your thing, then that might be something to look into. But that's pretty much all that's going on with Gigabyte for now. Our last article in Hot and Heavy Hardware is about TCL. TCL is a panel company. They make a lot of things, but particularly panels. They were showing off their 132-inch micro LED 4K Ultra HD TV at IFA this week. IFA. And it's they're calling it the Cinema Wall. 132 inches of 4K goodness with 24 million individually controlled LEDs. And these LEDs are serving as RGB subpixels, right? With a max nit brightness of 1500, not too bad. Could be better. We'll talk about that in a moment. And a contrast ratio of 2.5 million, which competes with today's leading OLED displays. They're claiming a wide color gamut on this panel, but they don't say whether they're using DCI-P3, which is sort of like the theatrical industry standard, or if they're using BT 2020. The article points out that this panel, while it's very impressive in specs, could use more nits because movies are post-produced currently using Dolby's Pulsar reference monitor for Dolby Vision HDR, which has a peak brightness of 4,000 nits. So if they really wanted to show you the content the way that the cinematographer imagined it and meant it to be shown, they would have to increase the brightness quite a bit, which is really useful for HDR capabilities and for really bright scenes. Like if the camera is going straight up to like a panning shot up to like the sunlight, and they're actually capturing the bright, they want you to see like the bright sun rays, then nits are obviously going to factor into how realistic and immersive that might appear to the viewer. The benefits of micro LED, just really quick, versus OLED. I think OLED is sort of the cream of the crop right now, but micro LED is slowly gaining steam. The benefits of micro LED over OLED is that you have no off-axis color shifting, no ghosting, no burn-in. These are all issues potentially associated with the OLED, their OLED counterparts. But at the same time, micro LED retains a lot of the advantages of individual LEDs like brightness, contrast, fast response time, and wide viewing angle. So it seems to be sort of the best of both worlds. We're just sort of waiting for it to break its way into the mainstream. Also, this technology doesn't require bezels, apparently, which I didn't know until I read this article. Apparently, micro LED panels don't need bezels and can be made extremely thin.
Oh.
So it kind of like reminds me of like the LG wall panel, the one that's like, or the wallpaper TV that's like incredibly thin. So I'm like, if they can already do that, because I think that's an OLED display, if they can already make it that thin with OLED, how much thinner can they really make it with micro LED? I guess time will tell. But that is all for my half.
Okay.
So thank you for being here, but don't go anywhere because we're doing the after party right now where Paul will probably play a game like Overwatch or something, and kick a bunch of ass, and we'll answer some questions that you guys have wrapped up with donations. And we'll also do Johnson shout-outs. It'll be great. Thank you, Your Everyday Tech, for doing timestamps in advance. If you're going to do that, thank you. We love you. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. After party link is in the description of my YouTube video. Do it.
Right back.
Bye.
I spilled